What's up you guys, it's Aditi. Welcome back to our channel. Today I'm back with another memory video and today's topic fascinated me a lot when I read about it like 3 or 4 years back. So let's quickly begin. I've already spoken about the 3 kinds of memory systems we have. So the last kind of memory system is the long-term memory, and long-term memory is divided into 2 types of memories. One is explicit or declarative memory and second is implicit or non-declarative memory. Now, explicit memory or declarative memory, as the word suggests, it's explicit. Explicit memory, it's explicit. It is in your conscious memory. You know when you are thinking about it. Whereas implicit or non-declarative memories, they are not easily retrieved into your conscious. It's implicit by the fact that you can actually do a particular thing, a task or an action. Also, people can never actually forget these kind of memory, the implicit ones. It's very rare to find someone who has forgotten implicit or non-declarative memories. Now, both these kinds of memories are again divided into 2 parts. So, first we'll start with the 2 types of explicit or declarative memory. The first kind of explicit or declarative memory is episodic memory. Now, it's very easy to understand what episodic memory is. It's like our autobiography. It's our own personal daily soap opera. So that's how I remember episodic memory as. So all these soap opera shows, like these TV shows that we have on Star Plus or Sony or Zee Marathi or any regional channels that you watch, whether it's Kyunki Saas Bhi Kabhi Bahoti show or it's Kahani Ghar Ghar Ki whatever, or jo bhi hai, ye rishta kya kehlata hai, I don't know. So all of these have episodes, hence episodic memories. It's kind of like that. So it's our own personal knowledge of our daily life, our personal history. But we don't remember each and every second of our lives, and it makes sense because it's not really important. We don't need to remember every second of our life, and episodic memory keeps updating and revising more or less constantly, and this updating process is like a survival mechanism, and I spoke about survival mechanism in the forgetting video. If you want, you can check that out as well. So we tend to remember the important incidents, so like maybe certain birthdays, first day of school or college, the boy that we liked in college, the first kiss, maybe your first breakup, the first best friend that you may have had, the fun times that you may have had with your best friend. Anything that is important, even whether it's emotionally or whatever, if it's important, that's something that you tend to remember, but you will not remember what you had for breakfast on, say, 5th February of 2005. But if I ask you what you had for dinner yesterday, then you may or may not remember. But if someone reminds you, like they say, "Arey, you had palak paneer." I'm sorry if you don't like palak paneer, but you ate palak paneer last night, and you'll be like, "Oh yeah, I did." And that is someone jogging your memory. And again, I spoke about this in the forgetting video. So you sometimes have the information, you have that memory, but we tend to lose our way to it. So even that's possible with episodic memory. So episodic memory is like this ability that we have to replay these memories, these incidences in our mind. Actually, it feels like that. It feels like we are exactly replaying it, it's replicating it, but that doesn't actually happen. That memory is kind of distorted, it is kind of changed because whatever experiences you may have had since that experience, that incident happened until today, you have gained more perspective, and all of these kind of change that memory that you had. So whatever memories that you may have, you think that you remember it exactly the way it happened. That is not really true. Now, the second kind of explicit or declarative memory is semantic memory. Let me ask you a question or a couple. What is 7 times 6 or 7 into 6? what is the capital of India, how many continents are there in the world. Now, when you're thinking of the answers to any or all of these questions, you are not replaying the incident of the time when you came across this information, or when it was taught in school or anything like that. You just know the answer. You know 7 into 6 is 42. It's 42, right? Then Delhi is the capital of India and there are 7 continents in the world. You just know it. That's semantic memory. So if we come across a piece of information across multiple contexts, then we tend to remember that piece of information without actually remembering the context. That's semantic memory. So you can say that semantic memory is anything that we have learned in school and college. It's the general knowledge that anyone can know in this world. And now that we know what semantic memory is, I'm sure you can tell me that it can be forgotten. Like, we don't remember Panipat ki ladai kab hui thi, or what we studied in the 4th standard about photosynthesis, or maybe we do remember a little bit of that. But we do have a way of losing our way to this kind of memory. Now we are done with the 2 kinds of explicit or declarative memory. So let's see what are the non-declarative or implicit memory. Have you ever heard of this term muscle memory? That's what procedural memory is. Technically, there's no such thing as a muscle memory. It's just a layman way of saying procedural memory. So procedural memory is the storage of skills. Like, you just know how to do things. You know how to swim, you know how to ride a bike, you know how to play a sport, you know how to speak a language, you know how to tie shoelaces, which is the easiest example. You just know how to do things. It's implicit by the fact that you know how to do it. That's it. But if someone asks you, like, can you teach me how to tie a shoelace, or can you show me how you do it? That's when you would be like, oh, give me a second, let me just see how I do it, and then I'll show it to you, or then I'll explain it to you. Because we are so used to doing it that we don't actually consciously do it. We just tick it and we're done. So that's what I meant by implicit or non-declarative memories cannot be retrieved in our conscious memory. They cannot be brought into our consciousness. It's just something that we just can do. Another thing about procedural memory is that it works very differently, because you cannot be exposed to one information to remember it. So to give you an example, if someone came to you and talked to you about karate for 2 hours, you may have semantic memory, you may have even episodic memory about karate, about that incident. You may somewhat learn about karate, but you will not be able to do karate, because for that you need procedural memory. For that you need to practice and do karate. And procedural memory is, the way I remember it is like, practice makes a man perfect. That's like the perfect phrase you can use for procedural memory. If you keep doing it over and over again, you get better at it and it becomes very natural, and that's what procedural memory is. So procedural memory also works for creative thinking, for even critical thinking works the same way. So you have to keep doing it over and over again for it to eventually become natural. Another thing about procedural memory is it's an implicit memory, right? So you can never forget it. Now, to explain that, let me tell you this one study that was done on non-declarative memory. And this study was done on patients that were suffering from anterograde amnesia. So anterograde amnesia is where people cannot form new long-term memories. So they already have their old memories, they are not forgetting them, but they can't form new memories. So it's like that hippocampus is damaged, and hence hippocampus cannot consolidate new memories. So I think that's what's happening here. So this study was done on anterograde amnesia patients, and they were always brought in a room, and they were taught to solve the puzzle that's called Tower of Hanoi. And I'll mostly insert how it's played or how that puzzle is done. after solving the puzzle over and over again, they kind of learned the sequence of moves that they have to do to solve the puzzle. At a later time, they were brought back into the testing room and they were asked to solve the puzzle again. And they did not remember seeing the puzzle ever, or even the examiner actually. But they still could solve the puzzle. And that just shows that non-declarative memories were formed, but the other kind of memories were not formed. And I think this is because different memories are stored in different areas of the brain, and I'll make a separate video on this topic. Another good example to explain this other than the study is Alzheimer's patients. So people who have Alzheimer's, they forget episodic and semantic memories, but they never forget to walk or to talk or even to wear clothes like buttoned shirts or to tie their shoelaces even. Although they do lose motor ability, but that's totally different from losing procedural memory. So what I'm trying to say here is that procedural memory is a kind of memory that people can never forget. The second kind of implicit or non-declarative memory is emotional conditioning. Now, the best example for this is fear. As a kid, something happened in your life and now you fear dogs. You don't remember that memory. You don't know what exactly happened, what was the situation that made you fear the dog, but now you do, and that's emotional conditioning. And you can watch my other videos on conditioning. And another thing is that you actually cannot forget emotional conditioning, so it's really hard to forget implicit memories, right? So you cannot actually forget emotional conditioning or emotional response that you had, but you can get therapy and you can counter condition this fear or this response that you have. And that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I have made more videos on memory, so you can check those out as well. And if you want, you can subscribe for more memory and psychological concepts or videos. I'll see you next Friday with another psychology video. Bye. Now to explain that, let me explain it.